Hundreds of migrants stormed the border on Sunday afternoon. This is the Paso Del Norte Bridge from Juarez, Mexico. This was all near El Paso, Texas. They're storming. Here's some of this footage. You can see this is unbelievable. Wow, people with great respect for our laws, I'm sure. United States Customs and Border Protection, they said that they were using port-hardening measures to temporarily stop the group from entering. And CBP has encountered more than 2.3 million illegal immigrants at the United States-Mexico border in fiscal year 2022, and more than 870,000 between October 2022 and January 2023. By the way, these people are just anticipating the end of Title 42 on May 11th. So you think it's bad now, just wait. And I want to show the show of force here that dispersed the group of migrants trying to rush this port of entry. There's two lines of Mexican military on the United States side. There's physical barriers, barbed wire, and, of course, a skirmish line of CBP officers in crowd control gear, as you can see. And I mean, when the United States actually puts up a fight to stop these people from coming in, that's when you know we're in severe crisis, because, you know, usually they just walk right on in and it's not a problem. So it's nice to see we actually do have the ability to put a little bit of force in there. Gentlemen, I want to get your thoughts on what is going on at the United States border, but I would like to hear first from the ever eloquent Biden administration White House press secretary Karine Jean-Pierre on Joe Biden's border immigration policy. Watch.
What we are going to promise is that we're going to do this. We're going to move forward with this kind of system, this immigration system that has been gutted, really, truly gutted by the last administration. We're going to move forward and do it in a humane way. We're going to do it in a safe way, and we're going to do it in the way that moves us forward. And so what we have been seeing, what we've been dealing with, again, is trying to fix the damage that the last administration did. What we have done is we've opened the path to make sure that people have a way to get, to come through and do it in a legal pathway.
That's amazing. Yeah, that's amazing.
Please.
You know, if I told you, Sarah, if I said, hey, you're going to go on national television, you're going to be on CNBC or whatever that was, and this is what you're going to say, this is going to be the talking point, would you be like, you're really going to put me out there to say that?
I'd be like absolutely not. This is going to
be the talking point
No.
on this deal? Imagine what $100 billion of money sent to Ukraine could have done for all of this stuff. What if the border czar, Kamala Harris, had stopped cackling long enough and laid off the marijuana and gone down there and actually visited and done her job? And see, this doesn't happen when Joe stops through on a layover on his way to Mexico City. They clean up the streets for that. Let's send Joe or Kamala or somebody, Mayorkas, anybody down there when this type of thing is going on, and let's let them experience firsthand what's going on. I mean, it's almost like you got two guys at the table who talked a bit about this extensively for a couple of years of their life. All over the place. And we got a governor in Texas who said, we're going to fix all of this. We're going to take care of it. We're going to push back. I mean, maybe Eric Adams in New York needs to get ready for a few more busloads if this is what's going to happen.
I mean, which it's like, I'd rather they be in New York than Texas, but I'd also rather them just not be in the country
at all. I'd rather them be in Mexico.
Yeah.
Right.
Or wherever they
came from.
Right. Well, I mean, honestly, that's not even my concern. Maybe that sounds too, hardened.
They're your people.
I don't even, I mean, if they're from El Salvador, where they end up is, I'm so unconcerned with. I don't want them being able to just come in here in just the crowds that they've been doing. I don't think that makes me a bad person. I think that means that I want Americans to be secure. I want Americans to be safe. And by the way, I want these people to be safe because I don't want them thinking that they should take this dangerous journey. There was a story just the other day that didn't a boat capsized or whatever, and a bunch of people ended up dead. They were trying to get here. I mean, there are all of these people who are risking their lives to come here. I would much rather they not do that And I would much rather know that Americans are actually being kept safe and secure. I don't think that makes me, the bad guy here.
No, it doesn't make you a bad guy. It makes you an American because you want to see the sovereignty of your country protected. Just the same as Chad just said, why are we sending hundreds of billions of dollars to another country to make sure that their territorial sovereignty is protected, yet we can't do it here? But what that clip just showed you, number one, is Mexico has no respect of our border.
Yeah.
They have no respect of our rule of law. So there's your answer from President Obrador. The other thing it shows you is that we have no control, operational control of that border. And the third thing it shows you, look at all the single military-aged males. They're in that group. Okay, these are not families or whatever. Single military-aged males should not be coming across here. There's probably MS-13 and all types of different gangs and what have you. So if we're not serious about protecting the border, which when you listen to the binder, this administration is not serious. and they've had many of opportunities to do something about it, but they continue to want to perpetuate this lie when the numbers that you just said says something completely different. And so if we don't have a presidential administration that's going to do anything, if we don't have a gubernatorial administration here in Texas going to do anything, then we're screwing people. And so we have people here in Texas along a 1,250-mile border. They're living in fear. They're living in terror. And that should not be the case. I mean, for someone like me that got deployed, I don't know how many times to go protect some other country, and I'm sitting here watching my own country get overrun, this is ridiculous.
Hey, look at the business side of things. So last week we had 2 Americans that got killed in Mexico, a Mexican that got killed, and then 2 others that were injured. And then, we come out with some kind of a response. Dan Crenshaw releases a thing speaking in Spanish. I'm like, stop speaking in Spanish.
Dan Crenshaw?
Yeah. Did you see that deal? Stop speaking in Spanish. Speak English and let them figure it out. Okay? But then the cartels, they tie up 5 of their gang members and leave them for, us to find and say, here's the guys responsible for it. Which is in essence them saying, we don't want to mess up business as usual.
Right.
Everybody's making money. And then, of course, the story gets swept under the rug. We're not dealing with it. Now we're on to talking about this.
Yeah.
Again, let's start seeing whose pockets are being lined by this. I've said over and over again, Milton Friedman said a long time ago, he said, you can have a welfare state or an open border. You can't have both.
Right.
And these big politicians, these big government politicians believe that this kind of thing is actually going to be a boost to the global economy. So as long as they believe that false sense of economic influx and you're seeing banks crash and open borders, we're in trouble.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that you said that. I know we got to go, but I'm glad that you said that in particular because that's something that I try to get across to people so often is the ramifications of this are not just seen now. The ramifications of this are seen for decades to come of all of these people coming in that we don't have the resources to take care of them. They're going to have children. Colonel, as you pointed out, I mean, these are mostly young single men. Who knows what else we're going to be responsible for when they come here? And, it's not just a here in the moment and here and now type thing that this is dangerous for. I mean, this is going to be felt for a very long time unless, I think that there's no turning back from. Right? We're going to feel it.
You're going to feel it.
Even if we shut it off now.
Even if you shut it off now. And that's why, you got to get an administration with an ICE that comes in and says, we got to deport the folks.
Yeah.
Especially you start with the single military-aged males. And then you go from there. But we can't afford another 4 years of this if this administration, God help us, were to win again. You're talking about the collapse of this country.
Yeah, I agree.
If you like that clip, there is plenty more where that came from. Click the link in the description below to subscribe to the News and Why It Matters YouTube channel to watch the full episode.